All right. Good morning, everybody. Here we are on a Sunday morning, going with a little bit of a different feel here this morning as we move along here. I'm just going to lower the levels in my ears. I added some music here today just to kind of give us a little background while we play some craps here on a Sunday morning. Coffee and craps, more importantly, right? Hopefully, you all had a fantastic week. I am now starting to get back into the full swing of things as we move in on a new year. So happy New Year's! This is my not my first official stream since the new year, but I wanted to take a moment say thank you to everybody for 2025 as we get started here in 2026. So just to kind of give you all a bit of an idea of what I'm looking at doing. Just to kind of start moving into the year, I'm going to have my Tuesday night streams where we're going to be playing some LFC with friends, which stands for Live Fantasy Craps. And then we're also going to move along and start back up our shorts. I'm looking at having shorts Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Friday's going to eventually switch over to bubble craps once I start getting to the casinos with a little bit more regularity, because I'd like to provide that content for you all. And then shorts on Saturdays. And then on Sundays, we do coffee and craps here in the morning. And then I join another group of players and we play some live fantasy craps on Sunday evenings. So that's what we're basically going to look at doing. I've got a code if you all want to join on Crapsy. Right now, I'm just going to let it sit. If you guys want to jump in along with me playing some Crapsy, I have a code for you. We're going to do $1,500 buy-in. Got $1,000 here, 500 in green. We're going to play some craps, just kind of be relaxed. We're not really focused on the money today so much as positioning, looking at our dice, making sure that we're getting good rolls, and genuinely just having a little bit of time to ourselves, relaxing, and having some fun while we play some craps. Hopefully you all enjoy the new graphics that I got for the streaming. I have kind of leaned on this one. I'm digging the purple and blue vibes mixed with the red table felt. So that's why I went that route. Might change it here later in the future, but as of right now, that's where we are sitting. So welcome in here on a Sunday morning. I guess we should go ahead and get started. We got a $1,500 buy-in, and yeah, let's just get straight into it. More importantly, I have a good swig of coffee. All right, so what do I like to do when I come in on the craps table? First thing I like to look at is I like to typically come in kind of light, just to kind of get a feel for how the table is going to do. So I'm just going to start off with a little 110 on the inside. Just see what's happening for us, if anything. And yeah. All right, so there's 110, 15, quarter on the pass line. If one of these four numbers come, I'll put it on there with the with the exception of 6 and 8. I don't want to put 6 and 8 behind. Yes, you do get better odds on the pass line when you take the 6 and 8 behind there, but it's not enough, in my opinion, to really make a difference. So I'm just going to leave it like it is, and 6 and 8 will stay up there. All right, so I got my dice. We're going with 6-2-6-2 to start. Actually, I don't like the 6-2-6-2. I'm going to go 6-2 or 2-1-3-1 just to start things off. And here we go. Opening roll. Hey, we get a 4. That's a 3-1. We're not upset with it. Let's go ahead and mark our 4 here. Have some fun with it. See if we can't bang out some inside numbers here on the first throw of the day. Okay. Feeling good. Feeling loose. Let's start off with the 3-5-3-1. See what we can get from it. First toss, we get a 2-3-5. All right, that works out perfectly. That's going to pay us $35. Now, there's a couple different thought processes when it comes to collecting, pressing, so on and so forth. Me personally, I try to get my money off the table as quick as possible so that I can continue in the role. So one of the things you can do is you can go 35, which pays you 1 for 50. You can go 50, which will pay you 70 on the next hit, or you can do a full press with 60, and that's actually going to pay you 84 on the next hit. If we get 84, we've got 110, 135 total. So I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it at 60 and see if we can't hit a repeater. All right, I'm going to turn my headphones back up because I'm not hearing the music, and I want to hear the music here on a chill Sunday morning. There we go. Much better. All right, we're going to continue with that 3531. And here we go. Next toss. We have a 235. Okay, so we came right back, which is fantastic because that's going to give us the most amount for what we pressed. That's going to pay us $84. Now, what I'll do is I'll just kick this up to 75 and I'm going to collect all this off. So that's 50, 65, 69 of the 135 that we have out. So we're still pressing, but not a major press because we still want to be able to get our money off the table in few hits as possible. All right, so we're looking at, what is that, $65, $69. We've now been able to pull off the top. If I pull that 50 now, we will almost be out of the hand. That'll give us 115, 119. So we're real close. Let's see what this next hit can bring us. 3531. Here's our next toss. That's a hard 4. Okay, we don't have anything on the hard 4, but again, we don't want to be we want to be patient. More importantly, that is the point. That's going to pay us a quarter. Now what I'll do is I'll pull that 50 off. 50, 125, 35, 40, 4. We are out of the hand. So now we can play it regularly. Since we've gotten our money off the table, we don't have to worry about getting money off. We can now purely focus on what we have up here. All right, 2 points down, 4 and 5. Let's see if we can't continue. For the come out, I like the 2131. I'm a bit of a fan of it. Here's our next toss. That is a 6-3 neener. That's a 9. Now, because it is a 9, I will take that and put this behind the pass line odds because 25 is going to pay us 50, where 25 would pay us 35 here. So the 5 and 9 are where I start to push my pass line odds. All right, let's toss it down. Let's mark our 9. Don't want to forget that. Let's take another sip of coffee. It is Sunday morning coffee and craps. Love me some coffee. Yeah, I started looking at some ideas of how I want the channel to go this year. And one of the things, 538, perfect. One of the things that I really want to look at is getting more casino content for you all. The only problem that I have is that we racked $5 on that. Went ahead and pushed our 6 up to 60. One of the problems that I have is that I live smack dab in between 2 sets of casinos. And it's like an hour drive for me either way. So I would, as much as I would love to be able to provide you all with daily content in a casino, it's not very conducive. There's a 3-3 hard 6. Let's go ahead and mark that 6. We'll take it up to 60 as well. Be able to allow us to rack another 5. There we go. That works. And we'll slide our dice. Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting to show. Yeah, there's our hard 6. So as I had mentioned, one of the things that I really wanted to do was provide more casino content for you all. And living in between the 2 conglomerates that I do, it doesn't really allow me to travel up there on a whim. I kind of have to make plans. And so with that, I'm going to look to make plans going to a casino with you all. So I'm going to be putting together probably here pretty soon that's our point. That's going to pay us a total of 75, 50 on the back, 25 on the front. We get all that right back. Now, because that was the point, remember your 9 is gone. I had a quarter on it, so I'm going to go ahead and put it up to 50, and I'll rack 50 of it. This is kind of going to our pressing, betting, collecting system. Now, I could have put all 75, all 100 of it right here, but I still want to take money and get it in the rack. So I'm just going to up it like I had hit it for 35. We'll take it up to 50, and then on the next hit, we'll go from there. Now, I could technically go ahead and put 60 on it, but we're just going to leave it at 50. Again, it just goes down to what are you comfortable with? Remember, this is our first throw. I'm going to be kind of conservative, get a feel for the table, and hopefully be successful. All right, we're on our next come out. So we're going to go ahead and go back to that 2-1-3-1 dice set. It's been working for us on the come out so far. Here's our next toss. There's a yo. See, this is why I like playing crapless, because, okay, so you don't get paid on the yo on crapless, but you don't lose on the 2, 3, and 12 on crapless. So that's why I like to work out strategies, play crapless. And if anybody has been following the channel for any amount of time, they'll know I hated crapless, but I forced myself to buy a crapless craps table so that I could get accustomed to it and still be able to play crapless or craps, either way. All right, here we go. Back to the 3-5-3-1. Here's our next toss. We get a 4-1-5. Perfect. So that's going to pay us 35. We're going to go ahead and kick that up to 50. I'm going to rack the 10. Now that I have all of these up to the $50 level, my next hit, I'm going to begin to start expanding out. I've been able to make a little bit of money. Let's see, 10, 20, 30, plus whatever I got from my initial reset. So where are we at in our rack from this particular roll? There's 175, which clearly shows you that we are out of the hand. Because we came in with, what, 135? So we got 175. There's 200, 210, 214. So, yeah. We'll just keep playing the way we are. We're doing just fine with this. Would love to hear your all's opinions on adding some music here to these live streams. I think it could be a little bit more chill, relaxed, especially on like a Saturday morning or Sunday morning. Hey, there's a 6-3 Neener. Continuing with our move along. That's going to pay us 70. Again, I told you that once we got this up to the $50 level, I was going to begin expanding. Since it was an 8 or a 9, I'm going to go ahead and just put 50 right on the 10, and I'm still going to rack 20. Remember, with us being out of the hand, we can now get aggressive like that and not get punished for it, which is ultimately what you want to do. You want to have your money off the table, continuing to press and making profits, as long as the dice cooperate, right? That's the big thing. Still on the 3-5-3-1. Our next shot, it is a 5-3-8. So we're pounding those inside numbers. We're not going to complain. 8's going to pay us 70. Let me grab some more red here. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and cover my 4, rack the 20. I want to at least get my 3 through 11 covered. And then once my 11 is covered, I'll go ahead and put those on my pass line odds. I will eventually get to my 2 and 12. All right, next, I'm going to add a quarter to my field. This is something that I've been kind of playing with, trying to expand. Oh, I forgot my dice. Almost forgot those. Kind of need those if we're going to continue playing, right? So I've been kind of playing with the field bet, adding them in periodically, seeing if I can't sneak in a little extra funds while we're expanding. I should have done that from the get-go, to be honest with you, but I didn't, and we're okay with it. 3, 5, 3, 1. Here's our next toss. 5, 2. Cinco dos. No worries. We were out of the hand completely, and we didn't get stuck for a loss on that hand, which is nice. That feels good. All right, so let's just set it right back up. Quarter, 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 quarter. That's 110, right? Then we had a quarter on the pass line. There's still a quarter. So how much did we wind up walking off with? Because this was our setup right here. We had 135. So there's 25, 50, 75, 90, $4. It doesn't sound like a lot, but if you make $94 every time you are rolling, you got a good strong possibility of making money. And again, we're kind of starting off light because we want to see how the table will react. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it choppy? Is it allowing you to get any kind of a run going? That's the type of things you want to look for. All right, that was our first roll. Wasn't a very long roll, but we did get enough rolls out to where we were able to recoup our money. So let's do another 110 on the inside with a $25 pass line. We're on our come out, so that means we're going to go with a 2, 1, 3, 1. Here's our next toss. We get a 1, 2, 3. Perfect. All right, so that is one of our... Hold on just a second. I'm checking something out, making sure what I see on Discord isn't a problem. Oh, okay. It's just saying that I was announcing my new video. All right, cool. All right. So yes, as I was saying, the 1, 2, 3 is one of our 3, 6, 8 yo dice sets that we're going to be utilizing. So 3 is our point. Now, in this particular situation, knowing that 3 is one of my targeted numbers that I'm going to be going after, I'm going to take $50. I'm going to gamble. We're going to add it to our pass line odds. It's an extra $50 that I did not have last time because I like 3s. That's the only reason I'm going with it. Let's see if we can't now take advantage of it. 3, 5, 3, 1. 5, 3, 8. Beautimous. I like it. It's going to pay us 35. So we're just going to kick that up to 60 and rack the nickel. Remember that 8 is one of our numbers as well. 3, 6, 8, yo. That's the dice set that I'm using. I'm trying to get a little cheeky. Ooh, extra bet. Yes, speaking of extra bets, I want to add a quarter to my field. Here's our next toss. Aces in both places. Wow, that's nice. And that, boys and girls, is why I like to add the field bet. All right, so I've got $50 here. Now, in order to properly take advantage of this, I'm going to add a quarter to my 6 and 5 because now it'll kind of wash it out a little bit and I still make a little bit of a profit. From now on, if it hits, I'll put what I collect on the board for the number that it hit. Just establishing some rules. The reason I do that is because that way I have a focus of what I'm trying to do when I'm at the craps table. Because if you just willy-nilly throw chips up onto a craps table, you're never going to win. You're always going to take a loss. And the reason being is you don't have an exit plan. The exit plan is recouping what we have on the table, right? So you want to get that money off of the table as quickly as possible and then press to the moon. All right, 3, 5, 3, 1. That's where we're at. Here's our next toss. The point is 3. That's a 5, 3, 8. Right back. Perfect. All right, that's going to pay us $70, right? Now, if I go like that and like that, There is 125, right? And that's $155. We're only in for 135, $185 because I did add that $50 on the backside. So I got 155. I'm going to go ahead and call that as if we are out of the hand. I'm not taking that extra $50 into account because that is for the 3. Yes, essentially, I probably should include it, but I'm not going to. So I'm going to add another quarter to my field. It's kind of risky with this 5, 6, 8 only being at quarters apiece, but I'm trying to utilize that to expand now my field out. Still on the 3, 5, 3, 1. And again, if you guys like this music or you want different music, let me know. I just tried to go with a real chill, lo-fi type of music for the day. 3, 4, we're out. I wasn't ignoring that ugly 7 down here, but that's okay. I did take a little bit of a loss, and I'm okay with that for the simple fact it wasn't a big loss. It was $75, but we made 80 some on the last hand. So we're still at an enviable position for what we are doing. All right, I'm going to take a quarter's worth of red and just buy a quarter just for my rack. There we go. There's our quarter. Still going with 110, 25 on the pass line. Still not playing anything here in the middle. This is only our second roll that we just finished up. Still trying to get a feel for the table. Hopefully you all had a fantastic week. We're starting to get back into the swing of things. The holidays are over. Making plans for how I want the channel to look throughout the week. And we'll get there. I'm starting to write down some ideas of strategies and things I would like to discuss on the channel. So I'm very excited. If you all have like ideas, topics, things that you would like to see, you're more than welcome to comment. Send me messages in Discord. I'm receptive to all of it. All right, here we are. Come out. Oh, I forgot to take this quarter off from earlier, so I'll just toss it back there. We're on the come out. 2, 1, 3, 1. Let's see what we get here. There we go. Aces in both places. That's a beautiful start. All right, so I'm just going to add a quarter to my pass line odds on that 12. And I'm going to add the lovely field bet. Here we go. So now that we're here, in order for this field bet to work properly for us, I've got to get my 5, 6, and 8 at least up to $50. So any hits from here I get, I'm going to quickly get these 3 up so that I can continue pushing. That's my plan. Let's see if we can't make it happen. 3, 5, 3, 1. That's a 5, 1, 6. I'm going to lose that quarter, so I'll go ahead and take it out of my rack, put it right up here. And the 6 is going to pay us 35. Just kick it up to 60 real quick. And actually, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and jump it up real quick. And I'll put my 9 at 50 and go from there. So I'm pushing harder. I now have 210, 235, right? And I'm playing this quarter, so that's 260. I guess we could take the pass lines into account at 285. Let's go. Let's freaking go. That's a 314. Perfect. That's going to give us a quarter. So I'll just put that right there on my 4. Just like that. That's my plan. Now, in order for this to work, you got to be able to hit repeaters. That's very, very crucially important. 415. Beautiful. We'll cover that 5. That's going to pay us $70. Remember, I'm going to lose a quarter there, so it's actually going to pay me 45. Put my 5 up to 75. Rack the 20. That'll allow me to continue pressing and get my money off the table. Right? Right. We'll leave that quarter there. Looking for the old 3-5-1, 3-6-8 yo, with the aces being our point right now. 1, 2, 3. See, I told you that was one of our possibilities, right? All right, let's see if we can't squeeze out. Oh, yeah. Almost forgot. I get paid a quarter up there, so we'll cover our 3. Ideally, I want these up to 50. So if I hit it again, I will then be able to collect it, and I'll also be able to start spreading on that 10 and yo. Here we go. 3-5-3-1. Boxcars. Beautiful. Okay, so I did have a question approached to me, and I'd love to discuss this with you all. I get paid double down here. Now, I'm going to stop for just a second before I get into that conversation. Because I was putting it on the number that it was hitting, I want to get my 10 and yo covered. So I'm going to go ahead and cover those 2. And now, if aces or boxcars hit again, I'll start covering those. So we're now covered where I want to be, the 3-3 yo, just not at the level we want to be at yet. And that's fine. We're okay with going at this route. We're still on the 2, 3-5-3-1. All right, going back to my question that I got approached with, which I thought was a really good one, is do I chase after the ATS at a certain point? That is an 8. That's going to pay us 70, but it's only going to give us 45 because we lose a quarter here. I am going to go ahead and kick this up to 90 and rack the 15. So we've got 35 racked. Let's continue pushing forward. So yes, I do go chasing after the ATS. And here's when I do it. Currently, we need a 4 and a 6, 9, 10, and a yo. I'm not in the point of chasing after it just yet. A, because I'm not on it. B, because I have 2 and 3 numbers respectively per side. When I get down to a single number, with the exception of 5s and 9s, I'll start trying to target those because I don't have a good dice set that I like to utilize that targets 5s and 9s. Always looking for one if you've got a good one. All right, 3-5-3-1. There's a 5-1-6. We needed that. So we'll cover that 6. That's going to pay us 45 because we have a quarter here. So I'm going to go ahead and kick this up to 90, and I'll rack 15. So where are we at? I've got $25 on the 3, 4, 10, and yo. $50, or excuse me, 75 on the 5, 90 on the 6 and 8. So if I was to bring everything down to a quarter, I'm out of the hand. So let's do that. Everything's coming down to a quarter. So let's see where we're at now. There's $275, $295 that we're taking off. We are out of the hand. And now we can really start to throttle because we were able to recoup our money off the table. Because if you remember, I had, what was it? It was 210, 220, plus a quarter, 235, 260. So yeah, we're out. And we have a healthy start on the ATS. Now, I was just mentioning about this on chasing the ATS. If I'm definitely playing, I'm going to chase it. I'm not playing it, but let's see if we can't chase it. So I'm going to go with the 3-5-1-5. That's going to specifically be used to target 4s and 10s. That's a 10. 6-4. That works. We do collect a quarter down there, so I'll put it straight on that 10. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, we'll stay with it. 3-5-1-5. Let's see if we can't snipe that 4. That would be a nice hit. 3-5-1-5. I really like using these Sunday morning sessions to talk through what I'm looking for, how I'm looking to attack things. That's a 5. We're going to lose that. All right, so that's going to give us $10. Just going to rack it. We'll move forward. I'm kind of being unproductive, if you will, by putting a quarter on that field. But again, I want to try to expand out as fast as possible. So that's why I'm using that quarter. 3-5-1-5. Looking for a 4 for the smalls. That's a 9. We'll take a 9. That's going to pay us twice. We'll get paid on the field and we'll get paid here on the 9. So the option that we can is I can go ahead and expand out to the 4 and the 3 and rack the 10. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Because as soon as I get these last 3 numbers covered, I'm going to pull my field. That was a 9. Let's get our 9 covered. So we're looking for a 4 or a yo. So I'm going to go back to the 3-5-3-1 because I'm more comfortable with that dice set, but it works the same. Looking for a yo. A yo. Perfect. Perfection. All right, so we'll do that. That's going to cover our yo right there. So now I have the numbers that I want covered, but I can still expand out to the 2 and 12. Either way, all right. Now that I'm only looking for the 4 for the smalls, right? My point is 2. I'm going to go with a 3-5-1-5. Let's see if we can't snag that 4. Oh, that would be beautiful right here. Ah, we get the 6-1. Dang it. We were so close. But not going to argue. We got out of the hand, made a little bit of profit. Let's uncover these. Good morning, everybody, if you're just joining in. Appreciate you all stopping by here on a Sunday morning coffee and craps. I mentioned it earlier. I'll mention it again. I started utilizing some music here on my streams just to kind of give us a nice chill feel. Welcome everybody in. 100, 275. There's 300, 325, 350. 365 is what we walk off with. So not terrible. You know, we came in a little bit heavier. We're able to get our money off the table. And more importantly, that's what is crucial. All right, let me put those back. That's 3/4. There we go. All right. So what do we want to do here? Do we want to continue trying the same process? Do we want to increase our bets? We've made a little bit of money. So let's not get too greedy. Let's just go from $25 level to the $50 level, utilizing the same 5 through 9. I'm going to kick my pass sign up to $50. Grab some red here. And what this is going to do is it's also going to allow me to put a quarter on the field and press and expand faster because now I'm only got half of what I have up here. Finally, I'm going to grab $30 and we're going to play the ATS this round. Oh, I need another nickel. There we go. There we are. We are set up. Let's say we're set up for success. And the only way to cap it off, cup of coffee, right? Nothing like a good cup of Dunkin' Donuts to start your day. There we go. It looks like I got 3 6s and a 3 4. We definitely don't want the 3 4. Hey, there we go. Nickels. All right, 2 1 3 1. That's my opening die set for when I'm coming out. Here we go. On the come out. We get a 2 3 5. Now we're going to lose our field bet, whatever. At this point, I'm fine with it. Mark our 5. Now I'm going to take the 50 and put it behind on my pass line odds. 5, the 2 through 5, 9 through 12. I will add pass line. 6 and 8, you technically should, but it really isn't all that much that you're making on the pass line odds. Because let's look at this. I've got $60 currently here on the 6 and 8. If I was to leave it here, it pays me $70 on the next hit. If I was to put it back here, it only pays me $72. Yes, I lose out on $2, but really, is it worth shifting the money back and forth on the 6s and 8s? In my opinion, no. So I just leave the 6s and 8s on the table. Everything else I'll move behind. All right, here we go. Our point is 5. So I'm going to go ahead and immediately jump to that 3 5 3 1. Try to pound some 6s and 8s. There's a 5 right back. Okay, hey. And we moved our, yeah, no, that's perfect. All right, so we're going to make a cool 125 right there. I say a cool 125. I'm going to go ahead and take 75 of it and now put it on my 5 because it was at the $50 level. I'm just increasing it up to a quarter. I lose this quarter and I still rack $75. Not too shabby. It's a nice little hit. I love those buckshots. I will never, ever, ever apologize for a buckshot. Sorry. Don't care. I hit it. We get paid. That's all that matters. 2 1 3 1 on the come out. That's a 4 1 5. Man, that 5 is hot for us. I'm going to lose the field again. I really don't care. 75 here on the pass line. Now that we have a 75 on there, I need to make sure that I have even odds, pass line odds. On the 5 and 9, it pays 3 to 2. So it needs to be an even number. So I'm just going to grab a nickel. We're just going to make it $80. Real simple. I could even technically put just a single dollar to make it 76, but I like 80 because it's a little bit easier on the roundabout. So with 80, I've got $42 increments. That's going to pay you 3 to 2. So I take that 40, multiply it by 3. That is going to pay you how much? 120 on a $80 pass line. Now you see why I go 2 through 5, 9 through 12. 6s and 8s, I leave right there. I'm not even going to push it. There's no sense in it. I mean, once you get up to like $100 will pay you, what is that? 120. Okay. That's a little better. 200 will pay you 240. See, I mean, yes, it does add up over time, but right now with the small limits that we have on the table, no. We're just going to leave it right there. Okay. 3 5 3 1. Our point is 5. Here's our next toss. 3 4. All right, that's going to happen. I got to talking. All right, so now let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reset. This gets all put down. So I need $30 for this, 25 and 30. I need a quarter for that. There's a quarter. I need 210 for that. There's 2 and 10. And I need $50 for that. So how much are we investing on this hand? Let's take a look. There's 100. There's 300 and $15. That's our exit strategy plan. That's how much we need to recoup before we get knocked out. So we got to be quick. Oh, as one of my headphones falls out. We've got to be quick, but we also have to make money, right? All right, so 315 is what we are in for currently. Let's grab our dice and slip them down. I'm going to change out the dice here. And I think I'm going to wind up getting some frosted dice instead of these glass dice. I've been watching other people's streams, and yeah, I really like how the frosted dice come. Plus, I won't have as much of a glare when I'm on the table. Whoops, I don't want that. I want 2, 1, 3, 1. Here's our toss. That's a 1, 2, 3. That is ideal for us with using the field. Let's mark that 3. We'll mark it here as well, and we get paid a quarter. So now that I get a quarter there, what I'm going to do is I don't need that there. I'm going to go ahead and rack that. And then on the next hit, what I'll do is I'll put $50 on one of my space. I want to come out to the table for $50. Actually, you know what is even better? Because that's the point. Never mind. I like that. See, that's why I like doing this, is because this allows us to really talk about my thought processes as I'm playing this out. And if you all have questions, you're more than welcome to jump in and add your comments, thoughts, questions. It really helps me bounce a lot of ideas off of you all and making sure I don't sound like a complete and utter fool, right? All right, here we go. Our point is 3. So we're going 3, 5, 3, 1. 3, 1, 4. Okay, we'll take that 4. We don't have anything on it, but we do have the field, which is going to give us a quarter. So I'm just going to immediately just stick it right on the 4. I was talking about jumping out in $50 increments, but you know what? Let's just add it, because if we hit it again, we're going to be able to collect on that and allow us to press even faster and get off the table even faster as well, which is more important. 3, 5, 3, 1. There's a, see, that worked out perfectly. Yes, I do have a VIG on it, but now I'm taking $50 here and a quarter there. So I technically can make this 100. I'm only going to make it 50. I'll grab this 50, put it on the 10. I don't know what else to tell you. When you're hitting the field, that is such a great system. Quickly allows you to jump up fast, but it can also hurt you if you're not careful. All right, 3, 5, 3, 1. Here's our next toss. 3 is our point. Hard 8. Beautiful. All right, so we're not going to make anything there, but we will make $40 here. Or no, excuse me. Yeah, $40, 45 here. So I'll take my 8. We're going to jump it up to 90 and rack the 15. So we had a couple of successful hits. Luckily, we were able to utilize and get that 4 added at the most opportune time, which was great. 3, 5, 3, 1. Here's our next toss. 6, 1. Ah, got bit by the 7. Okay, so I really have been, and I'm going to clear all this. I've really been trying to work on my throw from this angle. And I've noticed that if I'm not careful, sometimes I'll hit a rainbow shot. And that's exactly what happened there. So I'm going to rethrow this. We'll clear it off in just a second. Yeah, see, that feels much better. I got to make sure I keep that lower trajectory. All right, so let's cover this, $30. It was $315 total is what we had. So there's 315. Make sure everything is where it needs to be. There we are. And 50. That's 210, 235, 265, 315. Perfect. We are all set up. It's a lot easier for me to just kind of quickly just reset it how it should be instead of tearing it all down, putting it back. I'll do that from now on so that you guys can see that process. It just allows me to kind of keep things flowing here for you all. If you haven't had a sip of your coffee break, get that coffee in you. Wake up. Good morning. It's a Sunday morning. Got a little tea chaser. There we go. All right. Let's change out our dice. I got 2 2s. Hey, that works. And then a 3 5 6. So we'll grab the 2 2s. 2 1 3 1. That's what I personally prefer to use on the come out instead of the 6 2 6 2. Here we go. Oh, 1 2 3. We're right back to that 3. I like it. Slide that down. I'm being not aggressive, but I'm wanting to put 50 on the pass line odds for that 3. Again, it's one of those numbers I like to target. I'm also going to get paid a quarter here. Whoops, not from there, from here. Casino is paying me. So what I'll do is I'll take that quarter and I'll set it right here on the 3, allowing me to double dip. Again, being somewhat aggressive, but I want to try to get off the table as quickly as possible. So if I buckshot this right here, we're in great shape. Two, 4, 6. We'll add that to the mix. That's going to pay us 45 because remember, I got to take care of this quarter here. So I'm just going to take my 6 up to 90 and rack the 15. I'm okay with that. Just a simple little press, still adding money to the rack. No, it's not as much as we'd like, but if I hit that 6 again, we're even better. I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's a lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas, and maybes, and ifs, and ors, and ands. 415. We'll take it. Again, we'll lose a quarter on the field, but this is going to pay me 45, right? I'll just kick it up to 70, rack 20. And we'll just keep working it like that. Simple little presses, only on the inside. Yes, I did push to get that 3 covered, but it's one of my numbers that I like to target. 3 5 3 1. 6 2 8. Pretty throw. It worked out nice. All right, so let's fix that money here. Bring that 8 over here so you all can see. That is going to pay us, remember, it'll pay us 45 because we still got to cover that. So I'm just going to jump it up to 90 and rack the 15. Slide our dice down. So if you're curious what we got in the rack, we've got $50 currently in the rack. All right, let's continue on. Good morning as you guys join in here. Welcome to have you. Lovely to have you. Welcome in. Playing a little bit of craps or crapless craps. Just working through my thought process of how I like to press, collect, bet, all those fun things. 3 5 3 1 is what we're using. Our point is a 3. I did add extra for the odds on that 3. 5 4 9. Pretty. Okay, that's going to pay us $70. And this is why we do this, because the field. Now I'll take that, make that 70, and take this 50, cover my 4, rack the 20. I now have $70 here. If I was to clear out right now, I would have 75, 150, 160, 210 that I could take off, but I want one more throw. Let's see where we can get on this next throw. Remember, just nice, easy tosses. Stay relaxed. Know your trajectory, meaning how high you want to throw it, how hard you want to throw it. 3, 5, 3, 1. We have a plan. 1, 5, 6. There's the repeater we were looking for. That's going to pay us 105, right? Now, we had, what was it, 315. So there's 100, 150, 200, 25. That would be 300. I could recoup off right now. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to leave it. Oh, I do need to take my 6 up a level. Just continuing that same tradition. So we've got it up to 120 now. Slide down. Let's have another throw. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on Casey Craps as we play some relaxed craps and talk through our strategies together. If you got any comments or want to add in your thoughts, please feel free to do so. 3, 5, 3, 1. 5, 6, yo. That's one of our numbers. We didn't add anything to it, but we get paid down here. So I'm going to take that quarter, put it right on the yo, and leave it just like such. That's why I've got my field bet. That's why I want to utilize the field. It allows you to expand out as long as you can hit those numbers other than those 4. 3, 5, 3, 1. Let's get another throw. 3, 1, 4. Pretty throw. We needed that 4 for the smalls. It's going to pay us a quarter down there. Up here, I got a $2 VIG. No worries. That's going to pay me $100. Now I'm going to take that quarter. I'm going to put it on the 10 and I'm going to rack the 100. Yes. Okay, so there's $245 currently. We're getting there. So 245. I need what? 55, $70. Okay, we can do that. So let's take our 8 down to back down to 90. I've got a quarter on my 4 I can take. And I'm going to stop. That adds 55. That's 150. I've got 300 now off the table. I'm only in the hand for 15. I like it. I just noticed that my mic was blowing up on you guys. I apologize about that. Hopefully that'll fix the levels. All right. So I'm only into the hand for 15. I've got all this money on the table. Let's continue. 3, 5, 3, 1. So far, it's working for us. That's a 2, 3, 5. Pretty. Oh, I forgot. We only have a 2 left. Okay. We'll come back to that in a second. That's going to pay us 105. Add a quarter. I lose a quarter. I'm going to rack 55. So that gets us out of the hand. Yay. Step 1 completed. Step 2, take the casino for all their money. That's what most people will think. They'll be like, all right, I'm out of the hand. Now I'm going to take all your money. Oh, man, if I took all that money off the table, that would be one to write home about. All right, here we go. I'm going to stay with that 3, 5, 3, 1. I want to try to get my point of 3. We'll take a 5. Hey, if we're going to pound a number, I'm not going to have any problems with that. $100. That's going to pay us 140. I'm just going to take it up a quarter. I'll collect the 115. Because now that's going to pay me 175. So I add a little bit of equity to the table to hopefully get more profit. And, you know, since we need a 210 and a yo, I'm going to go ahead and change my die set now. I'm going to make it a 2-1-3-1 because that allows me to target 2s and 12s as well with less effort. 5-4-9. Now that throw did feel a little bit on the higher arch, so I'm going to bring it down on the next throw. It's going to pay us 105. I'm just going to take my 9 up to 100, rack the 80. Okay, I've got a full stack of red now. I'll add it here, and I'll collect the 100 from selling it back to him. Okay, so where are we at on the table currently? I've got a quarter on the 3, 4, 10, and yo. My 6 and 8 are at 90. My 9 is at 100. My 5 is at 125. I have a quarter here, which I need to get paid for on that 9. I'm going to go ahead and add that to my 2. And then I have $50 pass line, $50 pass line odds. That's where we're at. Let's continue the throw. Looking solid so far. Remember, nice, easy tosses. So we're looking at a 2-1-3-1 now. I'm looking for aces and midnight and a 10. That's a yo. Pretty throw. Okay. Let's drop them $1. It's going to pay us $75. I'm going to put up to 50. And now I can cover my midnight and I'm across the table. I also get a quarter for that. I'm just going to pull it off. And I'm going to cover my 3 and 4 with it. There we are. We're good to go. All right. I am done expanding. So I'm going to pull my field bet. We're across the table. We are out of the hand. Now let's take the casino's money and make some money. I like this proposition. Still looking for aces, midnight, and a 10. So I'm going to stay with the 2-1-3-1 because it does allow me to target the 2s and 12s. Here's our next toss. Cinco dos. Okay. Okay. I'm not upset. We came really close. One of the things that I need to remember when I'm doing this, and this is more for me personally than I'm doing something right or wrong. What I need to do is that as I am starting to target specific numbers here on the ATS, turn my bets off. Because I'm going into a point of where I may not necessarily be as comfortable with that throw, that I probably should go ahead and turn my place bets off, pull my pass line odds, and really see if I can't take advantage of what I have. So we'll do that from this point forward. Okay. And that way, if I do get hit by a 7, it doesn't hurt per se. All right, put the quarters there, $100 there, nickels there. How much did we take off the hand? There's 300. Okay, so we had 315, so there's $10 I earned. 100, 200, 50, 260 is what we wound up peeling off the table from that hand. I like it. Okay. So what do we want to go with now? I'm thinking I'm going to make a little bit more of a push. This will be our last hand as well. So let's do it. Let's go for it. So how much do I have here? 2, 4, 6, 8. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to go 150, 150. Then these will be 1 1/4 each. These will be 100. Those will be 75 each. And my 2 and 12 will be 50 each. Right? That's where we're sitting at so far. That looks good. Okay. So now let's take the $30 off. Oh, no, that needs to go in here. I lost that. I've got $200 here. So there is $200. Put 75 on the pass, 75 on the ATS. That leaves me with 2 quarters. That needs to go here. Hard 6, hard 8. I've got $20 left. Let's see what we can do. Oh, I'm excited. Okay, here we go. Last throw of the show. Since it's a come out, 2-1-3-1 is what we're going to go with. Here's our toss. 5-1-6 to start. Pretty throw. Let's take that. Mark our 6. Remember, if it's a 6 or 8, I'm just going to leave it here. Everything else will go to the pass line odds. Because it was the come out, also your hard ways are not working. And I don't ever work my hard ways on the come out. Unless I'm sitting in like a nickel each. And I would, if I wanted to hop, I would put it for a nickel each. So there we go. Here we are. 3-5-3-1. Here's our next toss. No, that throw felt good. 6-3 Neener. We'll take a 9. That is going to pay us $175. I'm going to make it $300. Take our dice. Oh, I need to make sure I marked the 9. 9. Yep, I marked it. Okay, cool. Staying with the 3-5-3-1. Here's your next toss. 6-1. All right, we're done. No, seriously though, guys. I do want to thank everybody for everything that we were able to do last year, all the great progress that we made and had. I'm looking to make a stronger push here in 2026. So hopefully you all will stay with me. We're going to start pushing content out starting next week. And we're going to just be talking craps, bubble craps, crapless craps, whatever you'd like to do. We may also start exploring into other games this year. We'll see how things go and hopefully get you some more casino play on this channel. That's one of my strong things that I really want to work on this year is providing you guys more live content inside a casino as we go throughout the year. I hope you guys enjoyed the time here. Thank you for bearing with me as I went through a couple of computer issues here this morning to start, but we did get out. It was just a little late. Guys, I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you guys coming and visiting with me. We'll see you guys here tonight when we join up for another live fantasy craps with Two Wheel Paradise. Trey will be joining his server tonight. That will be at 8 p.m. Be sure to tune in and join us. Guys, until next time, we'll see you here on KC Craps.